You've studied for years, you have a great vocabulary, but then you're listening to a movie and the character says, "Don't worry, we'll figure it out." And suddenly you're lost. What is figure out? This is the world of phrasal verbs, and for many, it feels like the final frustrating wall between being an intermediate student and a truly fluent speaker. They seem random, confusing, and impossible to memorize. But what if I told you they aren't random? And what if instead of memorizing a boring list, you could learn them using a simple system? Today, we are going to master 30 of the most essential phrasal verbs by learning them in logical families. This method will completely change how you see, understand, and use them in your own conversations. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Zen Podcast. My name is Liam. Mastering a core group of phrasal verbs is one of the fastest ways to start sounding more natural. So our system today is simple. We will learn these verbs in 5 logical groups. Let's begin with one of the most common and versatile verbs in all of English, get. The moment you add a small word after get, its meaning transforms completely. Let's start with the first one you probably ever learned, and the easiest one. Get up. This simply means to leave your bed in the morning. For example, I usually get up at 7 a.m. on weekdays. Simple enough. But what happens when you use get to talk about your relationships with people? That brings us to our next essential phrasal verb, which is all about how well you connect with others. Our next phrasal verb with get is all about relationships. Get along with. This means to have a good, friendly relationship with someone. It's a very positive and common phrase to describe how you interact with people in your life. For example, you could say, "I'm lucky that I get along really well with all my colleagues at work." Now, let's look at what happens after a difficult situation or a relationship ends. We use the phrasal verb get over. This means to recover from something, like an illness or a disappointment. You might say, "It took him 2 weeks to get over the flu." It can also be used for emotional recovery. For instance, she is finding it hard to get over the breakup with her boyfriend. Our fourth phrasal verb, get by, is about survival, often in a financial or skills context. It means to manage with the minimum amount of something you need. For example, if someone asks about your French skills, you could say, "My French isn't fluent, but I know enough to get by when I'm in Paris." It means you can handle the basic situations. And when life gets stressful, you might need to get away. This phrasal verb means to escape from a place, or more commonly, to go on a vacation. You might hear a colleague say on a Friday, "This week was so long, I really need to get away for the weekend." Finally, a very simple one, get back, which means to return to a place. What time did you get back home last night? And that is our first family of phrasal verbs. See how get can transform into many different ideas? Now that we have this group, let's move to our second family, built around a verb of perception and sight, the verb look. Welcome to our second family of phrasal verbs, all built around the verb of sight, look. Just like get, the moment we add a preposition, the meaning of look changes completely from a simple action to a complex idea. Let's start with a very common one you've likely heard before. Look for. Look for simply means to search for something or to try to find something. For example, "I'm looking for my keys. Have you seen them?" Or in a more abstract way, "She is looking for a new job." Now, what if you are taking care of something or someone? For that, we use look after. Look after means to take care of someone or something, to be responsible for them. You could say, "Could you look after my cat while I'm on vacation?" It's a very common phrase for babysitting, pets, or even looking after a project at work. Our next one, look forward to, is a fantastic phrase to express excitement about a future event. It means that you are feeling happy and pleased about something that is going to happen. It's often used at the end of emails and in conversations about plans. For example, "I am really looking forward to the concert this weekend." Now for two that often confuse learners. Look up and look into. Look up means to find a piece of information, usually in a dictionary, a book, or on the internet. If you don't know the word, you should look it up in the dictionary. Look into, however, means to investigate or examine the facts about a problem or situation. It's more like an investigation. A manager might say, "There's a problem with the new software. I will look into it." And our final verb for this family is look out. This is a warning. It means be careful. You might shout it to someone if you see a danger. For example, if you see a car coming, you would shout, "Look out, there's a car coming." So now we have a family of verbs for getting and a family of verbs for looking. Next, we'll explore a group of verbs that are essential for daily actions and routines, all centered around the verb put. We now have our families of phrasal verbs for get and look. This brings us to our third family, which is full of verbs for daily actions and organization, all centered around the verb put. Let's start with one you probably use every day. Put on. This has two common meanings. The first, and most common, is to place clothes on your body. For example, it's cold outside, you should put on a jacket. The second meaning of put on is to organize or stage an event, like a show or a play. You might hear, "Our local theater is putting on a production of Hamlet next month." Now for a verb about tidiness. Put away. This means to put something in the place where it is normally kept. After dinner, you might say to your children, "Please put away your toys before you go to bed." Our next verb is for all the procrastinators out there. Put off. This means to delay or postpone something to a later time. For example, I have to write a long report for work, but I keep putting it off. It's the perfect verb for procrastination. Now for a very useful three-part phrasal verb, put up with. This means to tolerate something or someone that is annoying or unpleasant without complaining. For instance, my neighbors play loud music every night. I don't know how he puts up with it. It implies patience in a difficult situation. And our last one for this family is put out. This simply means to extinguish something that is burning, like a fire or a cigarette. The firefighters worked for hours to put out the forest fire. So the verb put helps us talk about organizing our lives, our clothes, and our patience. In our next section, we'll explore a family of verbs that are all about movement and discovery, centered around the verb. We've organized our lives with put. Now let's explore our fourth family of verbs, which are all about movement, discovery, and ideas. Welcome to the versatile family of come. Let's start with two very simple but essential ones. First, come from, which means to originate in a place. You'll use this when you introduce yourself. I come from England. Second, come back, which simply means to return. He is traveling now, but he will come back next week. Now for a more interesting one, come across. This means to find something or meet someone completely by chance. It has a feeling of surprise. For example, I was cleaning my office and I came across some old photographs from my childhood. You weren't looking for them, you just found them unexpectedly. And what about when you think of a new idea or a solution to a problem? For this, we have a fantastic phrasal verb, come up with. This means to create or produce something, especially an idea or a plan. Your boss might say in a meeting, we need to come up with a new marketing strategy. It's a very common phrase in creative and professional environments. Our next two are very common in daily conversation. Come in, which is a polite way to invite someone to enter a room or your house. If someone knocks on your door, you can open it and say, please come in. And finally, the very famous come on. This has many meanings, but the most common one is as a word of encouragement, often to tell someone to hurry up. If your friend is walking slowly, you can say, come on, we're going to be late. And that's our family of verbs for movement and ideas. In our final section, we will look at our last group. This time we won't focus on the main verb, but on the small word that changes everything, the powerful particle up. We have arrived at our fifth and final family. This time we are not focusing on the main verb, but on the small word that changes everything, the powerful particle up. Up often suggests a sense of completion, appearance, or creation. Let's start with a very common one. Give up. This means to quit or to stop trying. It's a phrase of surrender. The puzzle was too difficult, so I gave up. Our next verb is about arrival. Show up. It means to arrive where you have arranged to meet someone. For example, the meeting was at 9 a.m., but he didn't show up until 9:30. Another important one is end up, which describes an unexpected final result. We wanted to go to the beach, but it rained, so we ended up watching a movie at home. What about starting a topic in a conversation? For that, we use bring up. It means to mention a subject. It's a sensitive topic, so please don't bring it up at the dinner table. And what if a story someone is telling isn't true? You can say they made it up. Make up means to invent something, like a story or an excuse. He was late, so he made up a story about the terrible traffic. And that completes our 30 essential phrasal verbs, organized into 5 logical families. We learned verbs with get for life events, look for perception, put for organization, come for movement and ideas, and up for completion and creation. Learning them in these families makes them much easier to remember and understand. The secret is not to learn 1,000 phrasal verbs, but to master the most common ones like these. For your challenge today, tell me in the comments, what is a phrasal verb that you find confusing? If this lesson was helpful, a simple like is always appreciated, and please subscribe for more guides to real, natural English. Thank you for mastering phrasal verbs with me. I am Liam, and I'll see you in the next lesson.